Hi, and welcome to Morning Afterglow. It's good to see you today, and welcome to our beginning of Hebrews 13. As we started Hebrews 13 yesterday, and we covered verses 1 through 6. I need to say the entire 13th chapter is really a chapter about application. It's about putting the truth into practice. I made the comment, and I think it's important to think about the fact that once we've learned truth, and we should learn truth, you don't know what to apply if you don't know what is true. So it's important that we study the truth, but once we know the truth, it's also important to put it into practice. And that's what this whole 13th chapter is about. It's just full of general, generic, important, practical application. So we covered verses 1 through 6, and he deals with a number of important topics there. He begins with loving Christians. Christians ought to love Christians. And that is a reflection of our love for God. John talks about that in his first epistle. We need to be kind, even to strangers, because God is always working behind the scenes, and we never know when we're going to be cooperating with God in a very, very special way. When we extend kindness to others, He uses that about you never know when you may be being kind to angels and you're not aware of it. It's kind of an interesting verse. And then we're to care about the believers who are hurting, particularly those who are imprisoned for their faith. That's another kindness that he talks about there, to care about them and to remember them and to pray for them because of their ill treatment. He talks about marriage and being morally pure. We live in such an immoral age. The ancient world in which Paul lived, in which John lived, in which all of the disciples lived, Jesus lived, was really a very immoral world. And we live in an immoral world too. And Christians need to take purity, moral purity, very seriously to heart. And to hold, he says, marriage in high honor, and to be morally pure and right. And then he addresses the issue of greed, which he says greed is really all about distrusting God. God says, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you, I won't abandon you, believer. And we need to trust Him in that and not let greed capture our thoughts. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you can still be greedy. It's very important that we fight this urge to make money our God. And then it ends with, so I will confidently say, the Lord is for me, the Lord is with me, I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? So it covers love expressed in kindness, moral purity, and faith in God, not letting greed get a hold of us, not being afraid, not letting fear grip us, but actually to trust God in all things. These are really important things. They're not just random things. These are critical areas where we as Christians can really bomb, and we shouldn't want to do that. And so I hope today that you will join me in thinking about how can we be faithful in these very important areas. How can we put the truth into practice so we focus on these important areas? It ends, of course, with this idea of looking to God, trusting in God, believing in God, and resting on His promise. I think all of our obedience comes down to this. Do we believe God, and are we willing to trust God for our joy and for our life fulfillment? I want to encourage you to know God is true. He will be faithful to His promises, and He's going to take care of you. And not only is He going to take care of you and protect you and provide for you, but He's going to do all of that so that your life is going to be fulfilled. You can count on God to do that. And I think that will be the impetus for us to obey Him. I hope that'll help us today as we move forward into a new week. And I'm praying for you as I know you're praying for me. Let's be faithful to God together. Amen. Well, I look forward to seeing you when we again get together on Morning Afterglow.